evening, good afternoon, good night, and good morning. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of RETV News Break. I am Ty.
I'm Nicole with your weekly RETV News Break. Every week, Ty and I will bring you news, trends, and more with a positive spin. This week, first up, is positive news abroad. Using the power of plants, Nairobi-based startup OmniFlow has engineered an effective wastewater cleaning system, and it's attractive. The Giraffe Center in Nairobi is home to many conservation projects. The OmniFlow project is one that's preserving an increasingly scarce natural resource, water. The company has installed a plant-based hydroponic system at the site that filters wastewater, which can then be used for landscaping, flushing toilets, and more. This year, OmniFlow was named one of 16 winners of the No Waste Challenge, a competition run through international design organization What Design Can Do. Sanitation and access to clean water are critically challenges in Kenya. According to UNICEF, only 29% of Kenyans have access to basic sanitation, a figure that has actually fallen by 5% since 2000. With the urban population expected to more than triple by 2050, from 12 million to 40 million, there are huge implications for water use and wastewater management across Kenyan cities. Today, only 40% of Nairobi is connected to a sewage system. The company's owner, Mio states that wastewater treatment is usually an afterthought. The conventional technologies just don't make sense for a developing country. They cost too much, are too complex, and are too energy intensive. They're not fit for purpose. In contrast, OmniFlow system doesn't require any electricity, chemicals, or significant gardening experience to build or maintain. Typha, also known as cattail, plants float on the top of a pond and absorb oxygen from the air. Then the plants inject it into the wastewater through their roots, restoring health to bodies of water while creating beautiful natural spaces. The self-sustaining system has been designed to be scalable, working for settings as diverse as private homes and eco-lodges to larger developments and municipalities. Plants have been used to treat water for thousands of years, says CO. The advantage of a floating system is that we can use much smaller spaces and eliminate the smell, the smudge, all that ugly stuff. The installation cost is quite low, and then operationally, you're just looking after the plants. So it's very viable for low-income areas as well as high-income areas. The water from an OmniFlow system can also be drunk if a small chlorine dose is built in. It took a few years to develop the technology and build a pilot to show how it works, he says. Adding that proof was necessary to secure investment. We don't have a culture of angel investors willing to try something new. Kenyans are very skeptical. They want to see and touch and feel. So we had a big issue of credibility at the start. We had to do quite a few projects before people said, okay, these guys know what they're doing. In the end, investment came from a myriad of places. The owner was one of the winners of a grant through President Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative in 2014 and received additional funding through a Dutch Ministry of Affairs scheme, as well as through friends and family. Beyond the first pilot, that money also enabled OmniFlow to build its own biocenter in Nairobi. The intention was to have somewhere to grow the plants, showcase how the system works, and carry out further research, but it's become much more than that. In the future, CO hopes to build a country-wide system that provides a solution for the network of trucks that empty resident septic tanks. OmniFlow also has interest in its solution from Southeast Asia and Mexico, where the company is working with another What Design Can Do finalist on a project. Eventually, the team aims to develop a licensed solution that's almost plug and play and build models that can be duplicated in any developing world. The reason this interests me was, one, I wanted to look beyond the U.S. borders to see what people like us are doing. But two, reading and watching an interview that he did a couple years ago Although he's from Kenya, he actually studied in several different countries, one being Australia, where he actually went to school for higher education. And he started out in marketing, but then and with marketing worked for like Dell and Sony, but did corporate America for a while and realized, man, this just isn't fulfilling. What do I need to be doing with my life? And ended up going back home to visit for a stay, and really took heart as to the differences between countries he had lived in versus Kenya. And he said, with all the knowledge I have and the interest that I have, what could I do to benefit my people and my country? Hence the wastewater development solution, which I thought was just a brilliant idea. Granted, small in scale right now, but where he's taken it and the funding and backing in which he's gained is really going to help them hopefully circumvent the issue that they've already conceived taking place come 2050 when the population grows or triples in size.
I'll say small in scale is, I guess, relative because it's Kenya. I mean, it's a whole country. I mean, country. And the fact that, even in the article, or you mentioned that, they're looking to potentially use it in other parts of Asia and as well as Mexico and so forth. So while it may be small in scale, it's obviously something that could be replicable and to be able to clear wastewater and so forth in other countries and continents. So
and probably even here, when I think of, although I don't know the ins and outs of the issue that Flint, Michigan is having, but that was kind of the first place I thought of. Like, I wonder if a part of his idea could help that area as well.
Probably. It wouldn't hurt. Yeah. I mean, considering the fact that where we are now today with, things in Michigan and so forth, I'm pretty sure it would not hurt at all to figure that out. In our next story, when most people want to find a piece of information, Google is a popular choice. From researching what to eat to determining what theorists are saying about rumored Destiny Child's reunion album. Reunion album?
I hadn't heard that rumor.
Me either. People from around the globe use Google to help solve their problems, big or small. To make otherwise simple.com navigation more aesthetically appealing, the search engine periodically changes its Doodle to pay homage to historical figures and events. A few days ago, Google's Doodle was in honor of Elijah McCoy. McCoy was a black Canadian-American engineer and inventor who changed the game of the train system. With his inventions, he increased the efficiency of train operations. With over 50 registered patents, most of McCoy's work was related to locomotives and railways. Google honors his work with the Doodle for his birthday. Born in 1844, McCoy is the son of formerly enslaved parents who escaped the torturous environment in Kentucky via the Underground Railroad. Upon successful escape, they settled in Colchester, Ontario, Canada, and then conceived McCoy. It's been documented that McCoy had an early interest in mechanics and trains. When he was 15 years old, he moved to Edinburgh, Scotland, to study mechanical engineering. As an apprentice there, he cultivated his skills and grew as an inventor. Once he returned to North America, he found that his family had settled in Michigan. Faced with the turmoil of racial and prejudice, McCoy found it challenging to secure gainful employment. Based on the Detroit Historical Society information, McCoy refocused his efforts and worked as a fireman for the Michigan Central Railroad. In this role, he was partly responsible for lubricating engine components. According to the National Inventors Hall of Fame, this role was critical to train operations due to the need for engines to be lubricated before they could start. This inefficient process sparked McCoy's ingenuity, and he developed an automatic lubricator that kept engines oiled while they were in operations. The invention, commonly known as the dry oil cup, was patented in 1872, revolutionizing train operations. McCoy's invention allowed oil to steadily flow around the engine without needing to stop the train. Although McCoy received much success, he fell victim to the constant hurdles many inventors face, replicas and knockoffs. Continuing to have a successful career as an inventor, people who wanted to ensure the products they received were authentic and allegedly asking for the real McCoy, hence McCoy. In 2001, McCoy was honored for his contributions, being inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and he has an exhibit near where his family later settled in Michigan. Because of McCoy's inventions, quote unquote, the big wheels keep on turning in trains worldwide.
Wow. I knew, or, the saying of the real McCoy, and knew Elijah McCoy as a inventor, but I didn't know his full backstory.
Yeah, I do. Honestly,
interesting.
You hear people use that phrase all the time. I want the real McCoy, or is that the real McCoy? Never knew where that came from, to be completely honest, until we just did this story.
Awesome.
So definitely shout out and happy belated birthday to Elijah McCoy. I know he's passed on, obviously a long time ago, since his inventions were back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty dope to find out where the origin of that phrase specifically came from, and to know what contributions he's actually had, and not just back then in the 1800s, but also here in today in modern society, keeping trains, engines oiled and lubricated and so forth, with his passion and love of trains in general. That's pretty dope, that he went to go follow his love and his passion and became an inventor to help out the industry.
Yeah, and inducted into the Hall of Fame. I never knew that there was actually an Inventors Hall of Fame based in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, it's in Virginia. That's pretty dope. And I did not know that either. And that's Northern Virginia. I'm actually from that actual area, and had not from Northern Virginia, but from the DMV area. But you would have figured that being from the DMV area, we would have known a little bit of something about National Inventors Hall of Fame. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Awesome. The next story, a St. Augustine's University student is preparing for graduation 4 years after being shot and paralyzed, CBS 17 reports. 4 years ago, Howard Boone was just like every other college student, buckling down academically while also building a career in the Army Reserves, hoping to one day rise through the ranks of the military while earning his degree. A 2018 trip to South Carolina would change everything. Boone was just an innocent bystander in the wrong place at the wrong time when someone started shooting into a crowd. He was shot in the neck and subsequently paralyzed, having been confined to the bed in the years since the unfortunate event. I quote, "I lost feeling like I lost everything. Everything I worked for just went away," said Boone. While dealing with unfathomable circumstances, he somehow found the will to go on. Deciding that he would return to school, while difficult, he has managed, finishing assignments and research papers, and even writing emails through dictation into the phone attached to his bed. There, Boone remains unable to move from the neck down and relies on a ventilator to breathe. His motivation was simple. He just wanted to finish school. "I don't think I ever started anything that I didn't finish," Boone explained. Now he has finished his senior year and is preparing to graduate from St. Augustine's University. He will graduate this May, earning a degree in criminal justice. While coping, he's also discovered a love for poetry, writing many of his pieces about the impact of gun violence. It is his hope that he can parlay his degree into a career in criminal justice or work with a nonprofit. Boone hopes to use his story to inspire others and one day publish his book of poetry. Congratulations, Howard. Your determination is an inspiration to all of us.
Yes, Mr. Howard Boone. First of all, it's, violence in itself is a terrible thing. But to see how he was able to turn around his story and we were just talking about Elijah McCoy in his inventions, but to use the technology of today to be able to make it through a collegiate career.
Whole college career.
Exactly. Having, doing, I guess, you mentioned, dictating his papers and assignments and so forth, so that way he can get it done. And so many of us, and I say us because I'm one of them, found many excuses of, not to finish or not to do this, that, and the third. But he, despite his limitations and despite, what he's gone through, found a way to press forward. And not even just on, to finish his degree, but has wrote a book of poetry.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
That is awesome. More than most of us probably have done in our lifetime. So kudos for him to just, being determined and really not allowing any obstacle to stand in his way of what he dreamt for himself and is continuing to dream for himself.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Howard Boone, for all that you've done and all that you will do in your life. You turned a bad situation a heck of a lot better and are doing some very honorable and noble things. Finishing your college career, writing books, and making an impact on not just your community but the world. Yeah, so for sure. In our final story, Issa Rae was recently announced as the 2022, always see these 20s and the 22s, 2022 American Black Film Festival Ambassador, which will take place June 15th through the 19th in Miami Beach. The news was first revealed per an exclusive report by Variety. In addition to the honor, the 37-year-old Renaissance woman will also unveil her long-awaited HBO Max series, Rapsh. You know what this stands for.
Exactly.
At the festival's last full evening, June 18th. I quote, "I'm honored to be this year's festival ambassador," Rae said in a statement. ABFF was the first major festival to showcase my work, and they continue to elevate black creatives from the ground level. It's also fun as hell. The Insecure creator received the ABFF's Rising Star Award in 2017 for an expansive work she's done in television and film since the debut of her YouTube series, The Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl, more than one decade ago. Founded in 1997 by the husband and wife tandem of Jeff and Nicole Friday, the ABFF bills itself as the world's largest community of black film and TV enthusiasts. The festival is dedicated to celebrating black talent and work by and about descendants of African diaspora. As ABFF's ambassador, Rae will participate in the festival opening ceremonies on Wednesday, June 15th, with the Fridays. Interesting, their last name is Fridays, and I don't know what day. Wednesday, June 15th. So sorry. The list of past festival ambassadors include the likes of Idris Elba, her Insecure castmate Jay Ellis, Taraji P. Henson, and Irvin Magic Johnson. I quote, "It's been amazing to watch Issa shatter ceilings with her incredible sensibility to storytelling and her astounding achievements in the industry," end quote, noted by Nicole Friday, festival producer and president of ABFF Venture LLC. "We have been admirers of her work from the early days and salute her for remaining authentic and never forgetting the importance of elevating the next generation of emerging artists." And on Saturday, June 18th, Rae will showcase her new half-hour comedy series, Rap Shit, which also she is the executive producer alongside City Girls rapper Young Miami and JT. HBO Max is said to have already ordered 8 episodes of the show, and its synopsis says it will explore the music business behind Miami through the eyes of women, an upstart hip-hop duo, and their hustler's manager. However, it will be interesting to see how Rapsh portrays the music scene, given that Issa Rae is not a fan of it at all. That's interesting. "It's probably the worst industry that I've ever come across," she told Los Angeles Times Slack December. Quote, "I thought Hollywood was crazy. The music industry, it needs to start over. Conflicts of interest abound. Archaic mentalities, crooks, criminals, it's an abusive industry, and I really feel for artists that have come up in it."
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. One, I didn't know that she didn't necessarily care for the music industry, but I've heard a lot of people who don't necessarily care for the music industry, but obviously that's what they choose to do. That's their love, that's their passion. Didn't know she didn't care for it, especially considering the fact that she's actually collaborating with a few music artists, Young Miami and so forth, and JT from the City Girls. But this festival in itself, though, I think it's pretty dope. A movie and TV festival?
It is, but back to her series right quick. I'm wondering if, although she doesn't like it, if she's really going to hone in on, really getting to the nitty-gritty of the industry and expose some things that probably the average person like ourselves wouldn't know about. And maybe, hopefully, through this, it will invoke change in the future for the industry.
Yeah, I would think so with the name Rap-ish. Who will say Rap-ish? I already said it, Rap-ish. Yeah, I would think that, it's behind the ish is all the ish that comes in the rap and music industry. But, for her to be able just to highlight and be a part of this particular ABFF's festival, which I didn't even know existed down in Miami. I think that's pretty dope, that we continue to highlight and pay honor and tribute to the entertainers and the filmmakers and the actors and actresses, like Issa Rae, who actually started doing with her own miniseries that she started on YouTube that grew into Insecure and grew into all the other things that she actually does. Who knows where this particular festival may lead other African Americans, and black creatives like us or her or anybody else for that matter. Definitely looking forward to seeing this coming up in when it comes up to ABFFs.
I just love to see her taking the initiative and riding the wave from one thing to another and building up the momentum of her career, which I think is phenomenal. So congratulations, Issa Rae. Job well done, and you'll continue to do.
Exactly. We thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of RETV News Break.
Be sure to subscribe to RETV YouTube channel and Facebook pages for more great news and shows.
Be sure to also download the RETV Roku app to watch your favorite show. And we look forward to seeing you again next week right here on RETV. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RETV, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?